Welcome to AM Best Audio.
Former insurance executive Greg Lindberg was sentenced to 12 years in prison for orchestrating a $2 billion fraud scheme that evolved to include money laundering and bribery. BestWire Steve Hallo has been covering the story and joins us now. So Steve, who is Greg Lindberg exactly?
Yeah, according to the DOJ, he's a Florida man that founded and ran investment and insurance companies, and eventually he orchestrated one of the largest insurance fraud schemes in the United States history. He generated more than $2 billion in ill-gotten gains and defrauded hundreds of thousands of policyholders. Now, when you read through the court filings, it paints a slightly different, maybe more eccentric picture of his character, with federal prosecutors saying Lindberg's real goal was to become the richest and oldest person to ever lived. Based on the emails he sent himself, he was aiming to be a multi-billionaire and create his own Valhalla on Earth, which is a Viking warrior paradise. Now, since his initial arrest and incarceration, he's also penned several books covering his time in jail, offering leadership advice based on his experience, and a review of quantum biology, which he calls the science of anti-aging.
So what exactly did he do as far as the fraud goes?
Yeah, so the scheme primarily involved using insurance company funds to quote-unquote invest that $2 billion in loans and other securities in other Lindbergh-owned and affiliated companies, according to the DOJ. Now, this included forgiving loans to himself for more than $125 million, which he used to fund, what the Department of Justice described as a lavish lifestyle.
Now, your reporting states that he was sentenced to 12 years in prison and $1.6 billion in restitution. Sounds like a pretty stiff fine.
Yeah, it's pretty close to, what federal prosecutors were initially seeking, but a pretty far cry from Lindberg's bid to have his sentence shortened to basically time served. Now, at the time of his sentencing, he already served, more than 1,000 days in prison, and he also earned some sentencing reductions through the Federal First Step Act. And that's a 2018 law that aims to curb kind of excessive mandatory minimum sentences and kind of reduce mass incarceration. Now, the defense said the limited jail time was proper in part due to Lindberg's extraordinary restitution and cooperation efforts.
Customize your data experience. BestLink now offers an interactive company dashboard that provides company-level intelligence in a fast, user-friendly interface featuring interactive tables, charts, and Sparkline performance histories. Customize the dashboard tiles to prioritize the insurer ratings, data, and analytics that best support your workflow. AM Best. Our insight, your advantage.
Any chance he could escape the restitution?
Yeah, I'm uncertain about the restitution piece. That's still being hashed out, and there's going to be some further hearings to kind of untangle who was owed what. But Lindbergh has tapped a lobbying firm run by some former Trump organization and White House staffers to pitch the president on a pardon. Now, Mike Causey, who is the North Carolina insurance commissioner, came out pretty quickly to oppose that pardon. Causey's involvement was kind of earlier in this scheme and kind of when it started to unravel. Lindbergh and some of his associates attempted to funnel what they called campaign contributions to Causey, a couple $1 million, and they were hoping that he would, give them some more favorable actions, and they were also looking to have a senior regulator that was overseeing his companies removed. Now, all that said, if you're going to plan to live for more than 120 years in a Viking warrior paradise of your own creation, a decade in the slammer is probably just kind of like a drop in the bucket, right?
Bizarre and fascinating. Great reporting, Steve.
Thanks, John.
That was Senior Associate Editor Steve Hallo. You can find the full story on BestWire. For AM Best Audio, I'm John Weber.
Looking to get the full attention of the insurance industry? We have the platforms that will do just that. Whether it be AM Best TV, AM Best Audio, Best Review Magazine, or Best Day. Find out more by calling AM Best Advertising Sales at 908-439-2200, extension 5399, and have a great day.